I've got a little. So to begin this, we're not allowed to say which episode number we're on. I've been told off by one of my friends. Like every single time, we forget which episode we're at. What's that all about?
I don't know. We just must have wanted to follow some type of order.
Yeah, but hello, John. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, hello, chaps. How are you doing?
Very well.
Good.
We're really happy to have you on.
Yeah,
you look happy.
Yeah.
We've had a good conversation in the build-up to this. The one thing that I've wanted to touch upon is your thoughts. I find your thoughts incredibly interesting. My view on thoughts is it basically, how can I describe this? It can show who you are as a person, because what you are thinking determines what you are feeling, and what you are feeling can determine your emotions, and your emotions tend to show themselves in your own physical body and the way that you present yourself to the world. So I feel like it's so important to really understand your own thoughts and to try and within reason. You can't control your own thoughts. We're all aware of that.
Well, yeah, the way you've described that, I think then most of us try and control too much.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
And we're trying to stop certain thoughts. We're trying to be certain kinds of people. You know, we're trying to conform with the whole social media thing.
Yeah.
We're trying to be something that we're probably not.
Mm-hmm.
What interests me is what you say, but it's how do we get back to ourselves
Yeah.
and that true self,
Yeah.
and to look someone in the eye and go, I'm being honest.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Because, well, we're human beings and we're a bit tricky, aren't we?
Yeah, we're incredibly complex.
Yeah, we're very selfish.
Yeah.
We are.
Innately.
We're all cavemen, cave women.
Well, and we're not as strong as we like to think we are.
Correct. Yeah.
And these things, like all this decision making, like honestly, it causes so much fatigue. You know, every day just having to make decision on decision to like remain like society wants us to be a certain way. Like it demands so much from us, and a lot of times it like sometimes you need to have a little breakdown.
Well, no, you are correct. We're not designed for the fast pace that we find ourselves in right now.
No.
Are we?
If you think about
No, yeah.
evolution, so we've been on this planet for thousands and thousands of years, but we've only been living the way that we are living right now for, 100, 200 years at this fast pace, like you said.
Yeah.
And this is stressful. This is something that our minds just can't comprehend. Like, what is going on? I've lived in a cave most of my evolution. So why am I now in in a house that's got 3 bedrooms with 2 cars sat on my drive? Like, what's this all about compared to that? Like, I feel like we as human beings, as a species, don't understand it yet. And there's so much that we need to learn about consciousness, about thoughts, about social media. So we mentioned social media in the build up to this, and I just thought about it there.
A lot of distractions.
So it just distracted me there while I was talking. I started talking about social media, and it's so powerful, and it takes over so many people's lives, and it absorbs them. Is there anything that you do in particular to kind of bring yourself away from social media but keep it there as a tool?
Oh, I have taken several apps off my phone for a start, because I was just finding myself absorbed in in particular one or two.
I know people can relate to that.
Yeah, I've kept one on because it's more.
What were the two?
I've got rid of Twitter on the phone.
Yeah.
And Facebook on the phone.
Yeah.
I looked at them today actually on the PC.
Yeah.
And that's twice a week. But LinkedIn, because of my daytime work, is on the phone.
I understand that. Yeah.
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 But it's exactly the same thing, and the same processes: scrolling, liking, idle, 20 minutes just disappearing.
Yeah.
Like it does.
Yeah.
But I'm noticing when I've got that pull to kind of, let's just have a look.
Yeah.
Let's just have a look.
I can resonate so much.
But it's recognizing the pull. So here's one for you to start off straight away, maybe to test some of your listeners out and to test yourselves. This is the challenge.
Yeah.
Next time you make a hot drink, turn the kettle on and stand there and wait for it to boil. Do not move. Or maybe, just gently moving your body, but
Yes.
Within 10, 15 seconds, you'd probably driven to distraction.
Yeah.
You'll want to do something in the kitchen.
Yeah.
You'll want to empty the dishwasher or put something in the washing machine or get the food on or look at umpteen texts or
Yeah.
send umpteen messages in between the time it takes to switch it on and to make a cup of whatever that hot drink is.
Yeah.
But the challenge is to stay there and not do anything and to notice just how fragile you are and how distracted you are and ask yourself, who is in control?
Who's in the driving seat?
Who is in the driving seat? Because most of the time it's not us. And that pull, because you're either going to feel it in the body,
Yeah.
right, I've got to do something, or you're going to be doing it in the mind, which tends to be on
The phone.
the phone.
Looking for some sort of reward.
We're looking for
Yeah.
that reward. And remember, the phones are designed for distraction and they're
Yeah.
designed for reward.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
The triggering dopamine in
Yeah.
us, which athletes love.
I
Yeah.
think even the colour red for a notification is,
I love
is a
it as well.
stimulant. It's
It's these like Facebook, for instance, like the way it's designed, when you click on a video, it takes you into like a stream of
Yeah,
videos.
yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
one video stops and it automatically pulls up to the next video,
Yeah.
and you can find yourself watching videos of absolute nonsense.
that you had no idea that you were going to watch 10 minutes earlier. But I mean, I don't scroll on Facebook anymore. I use it. I got rid of it for about a year, but now it sounds a bit sad, but now for promotional reasons, I try and get in there and share my own stuff.
Well, this is it. You have to take part.
You have to take
You've
part,
got to
yeah.
take part, but you've got to do it, and we'll use that word, but you've got to do it mindfully.
Yes, yes.
And
So-
that to me is awareness.
There we go.
And that's so awareness of yourself and what it's doing to you. And so, do you right now know when you've done too much?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I
Me,
know.
no.
I know.
Today, I woke up today, I'm guilty for this. I woke up today, first thing I done was went on my phone, and I think I spent at least 40 minutes.
Oh, that's a lot of time. I
40
could not
minutes.
do
Okay,
that.
I'm so bad.
And 40 minutes. 40
Chris is
minutes
looking in disgust.
I'm so sorry, guys,
But
but I have
looking
to
at
tell
what?
the truth.
Looking at what?
All sorts of
Yeah.
junk.
Stuff.
Yeah,
stuff.
just stuff. It just starts
Filling up
off
your
just
brain.
checking like my social, and then before I know it, I'm on the. This is where I know the Facebook. I was watching all sorts of videos, just found myself laughing at these, and I look back now and I realise that they got me. Like Facebook got me this morning.
Yeah.
It got me good.
Yeah.
It got me good. I fell into
got
that
you.
cycle, and I feel like I must have been like them zombies. My awareness went completely out the window.
Yeah.
Went out the window.
Yeah.
Damn.
I feel like self-awareness could be the key to longevity. As though if you become mindful about what you do, if you want to call it awareness, being self-aware in yourself, it just creates a healthy atmosphere internally more than anything. And I feel like that's more important than your physical self. I feel like internally that's what really matters.
Well, here's a question for you. You mentioned earlier about thoughts.
yeah.
Thoughts driving body. Thoughts.
Yeah,
Right,
thoughts,
okay.
thoughts, continuous thoughts.
Where do the thoughts come from?
So, can I ask you a question to fire back at your
on,
question?
then.
Do you believe in free will?
Maybe we can answer that later on.
Yeah. That's,
I think
So-
I think we're leading on to this.
okay.
Yeah,
I think we're leading on
So
to
where do
this.
the thoughts come from?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, like, it's your experiences, I guess. Your thoughts come from what we perceive as the past, and what we think the future, the past, present, and future, will dictate. Like,
But if that was the case, then you'd never be present in the moment because you're always
Well-
either living in the past or the future.
where do our thoughts come? Our thoughts come from our mind, obviously.
Yeah, because you have a thought and you look at the phone, but
Yeah.
you have a
Do
thought
they?
to look at the phone, don't you?
They
Where
don't
does that-
always
where-
come from your mind.
Where does it come from?
Like, what's influenced that thought?
Yeah.
your
Well,
bodily needs?
You've got what's influenced that thought. You have got bodily needs too.
It's the dope. I'm looking for that reward.
Okay, you're looking for reward.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm looking for something to stimulate me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
But
if
it's
you were to
easy
if
as
you
well,
were to
and easy.
if you were
easy
to strip away all the layers from your thoughts, taking it right back to wherever they did come from, I think we'd find a little bit of awareness,
Okay.
Ah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So everything else, if we're not coming from awareness, is going to be pretty mindless.
Yeah.
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 Yeah,
Makes
I-
sense.
yeah, I
and that's
understand.
everything. That's
Yeah.
everything that we do. So
So that's your distractions.
This
we're all
morning-
guilty. Yes.
For me this morning.
Yeah, you this morning.
Right. So it's not to take back control in a strong sense, but how do we get back to ourselves How do we get back to a true sense of who we are? How do we get back to the true awareness that we were originally evolved, or we are evolved to have?
So
We have to strip away all these distractions.
how do you know who you are
We
as a
strip
person?
away all these distractions, everything, the phone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My only answer to this is, and the only way you'll ever understand it, is if you've had a day out of being the best version of yourself, the most productive version of yourself, and you know when you get home at night and you can actually stick your feet up and you can feel fulfilled and you can lay down and be like, you know what, I am so content. I feel that's the only way that you can truly define who you are, is by looking back at that day, looking at everything that you've done, and basically understanding what you value throughout that day. And then you can understand what you value in life in regards to what you love doing or love being, or who you love being as a person. Because there's I've just kind of contradicted myself as I'm talking, because I'm thinking human doings and human beings. So we aren't human doings, we're human beings. So you've got to understand who you are throughout the day and what you value. Like, is it the love? Is it the connection? Like,
Well, I'll tell you what, I've been at work today and it was talking to people in the workplace and talking generally about health. And it touches very much what you've just said there. So all of this well-being, all of this awareness stuff, some of it is coming from love and connection with others, like you've been talking about.
yeah,
The things that we really value and really care about.
Yeah.
So, you know, how often have we sat down and said to ourselves, right, what do I really value? Like just go on the internet and get a list of values.
yeah.
There's hundreds of them.
Yeah, there is
And
literally
just
hundreds
without
of them.
thinking, just pick the top 6 really quick.
Yeah.
And then from the top 6, pick the top 3. And then from the top 3, just go, right, is that more important than that one? And just get your number 1.
Okay.
Just to get an idea of
An idea, yeah.
But does that value suit your way of life now?
Yeah. Let's see.
Yeah.
That's where the tough questions come in.
And also things like, am I pursuing this value? Am I attached to this value?
And do you believe that you should be attached to this value? If you value that as number 1 or number 3 or number 5?
What about the star limit? A lot of people, a lot of us, we have an idea, like we have an idea of ourselves in our head, which we aren't like really projecting in reality. So we might have our values mixed up.
Yeah.
So at the
Quite
time,
often.
we might be getting misguided in that way.
Quite often, yeah. I believe so. I think we touched upon this in the walk here. I think in our heads, we all have this self-concept. And this self-concept is something that we all aim to be in the future as a person. It might just be a better member of the family. It might just be more loving and caring to your mother, to your father, or to your daughter, your children. That might be all it is for your self-concept. But this earphone keeps on twitching, Chris. That might be your self-concept, to just look in the future and see yourself as a more loving person. So when you are thinking about yourself right now as a person, and then you look into the future and you see the self-concept, people are in crisis because I feel like they can't understand the decisions that they need to make to become this person within their self-concept.
That's right. And there's a huge gap in the middle, isn't there?
Yes,
right.
A huge gap.
So there's the expression, mind the gap. Yeah.
Mind the gap, yeah.
Mind the gap, because you've got to know where you're at, or who you are, or who you think you are. But yeah, and be very careful with who you want to be, or what society is telling us what to be, or what social media is telling us you should buy, what you want, because the gap can get really big.
Yeah, it's scary at the moment as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's like, especially for the next generation as well. I feel like my generation especially, we've been kind of sucked into this, and then now the generations are completely brought up with this like real like, it's like a push on this capitalistic type of lifestyle, and it's like I really feel for a lot of females as well, because they've got an extra pressure of like having to look a certain way. I know men have it as well these days. I can't cancel that out, but the women have a big pressure of looking a certain way, acting a certain way. Like adverts are telling them that they need this for the lips, they need this for the skin, and even the cost of living for a woman is ridiculous compared to a man because of having to buy all these products.
I think you've hit it in one, because you have to buy these products.
Yeah.
All we are, in the eyes of those who want to sell us stuff, we're just consumers.
And
If we're not careful, we'll believe that.
Yeah.
Right, and this is what I mean by distraction. We're distracted so much that we don't know who we are.
Yeah.
You've got to come back to yourself, and it takes time and practice, I think, to really, it's a bit like standing and boiling the kettle or standing in front of that shop window. No, I'm not going in and buying.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm just going to play with how my body is feeling. I'll play with how my thoughts are, because you know what? I've got so much adrenaline running through my body right now. I really want those trainers.
Yeah.
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 And
It releases something.
right, it does.
It does.
That's right. And we're not aware of this.
Yeah.
It's frustrating.
Yeah.
It's frustrating.
Yeah. Well, imagine how it feels
can
for
be.
someone with not a lot of money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
it's
Or
horrible.
someone's having a tough time, and
Yeah.
you know,
So much
the whole,
pressure.
the whole world is running away from them.
One of Shaq's lyrics in his songs, I think I've actually brought it up before. Look in the mirror, who was staring back at me.
Yeah.
Scary facts catch me, and it's so true. Like some people don't look in the mirror.
Yeah.
They really don't see who is looking
This
back at them.
I swear, this all links back to awareness and consciousness.
Yeah.
It's just like so many people are living a life with different levels of awareness. And then even like someone with me who I think I felt like I had a level of awareness, but I can still slip into these cycles where I get sucked into this, even social media and stuff.
Yeah.
And does that make me even worse than the people that don't have the awareness in the first place?
No, maybe it's to remind yourself why you have those actions in the first place. So, for example, you two have a reason for doing this podcast, don't you?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
There's something you value about that.
Yeah.
Something that motivates you about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Growth.
Okay, so let's not knock ourselves about going on social media too much, because when you have to go onto social media, it's because of
Yeah.
this reason why we're
Absolutely.
all here.
Yeah.
It's because of what you're motivated by. If you're keeping your values, what you're motivated by, what you want to do that has meaning,
Yeah.
it can help you navigate the path through all this craziness.
Yeah.
The problem is, so even young people,
Yeah.
and I'll go to a lot of places now, so 30-somethings who've just started maybe a 20-odd year career, and I'm asking them, what is it that you want? Why did you join?
Yeah.
What are you looking for? Because if you don't find it here, you're going to have to create it somewhere else. Because otherwise, you're going to come a cropper.
Well, how do people answer those questions within?
With silence.
yeah.
With silence, usually.
It's the truth.
And then everyone starts looking down.
You catch them off guard.
Everyone starts looking at each other, and then you've got to remind yourself, if you're not looking in the mirror, at least look at me. I'll ask it one more time.
Yeah.
What are you doing here? what do you want to achieve?
You know what? Most people are at work for one reason.
Yeah.
Money. It's the
Right,
one reason
right.
why people go to work. A lot of people don't realise that if they had a job that they love, then you wouldn't be going to work for money.
Caught in the system. And
Caught in the system, yeah.
So nobody, well, there's a lot of people, you can't buy happiness off the shelf.
No.
With the wages that you earn from a job
Yeah.
that you don't know why you're there for, right?
Yeah.
So you've got to find meaning, yes, for yourself, but you've got to find it with stuff outside of work, if it's not in your workplace. Yeah. So that meaning comes from helping others.
Yeah.
In some form.
Yeah.
That's connecting with others.
That's the best way to get it. So either relationships, or whether it could be community work, so giving back to
Anything.
society.
Well, you mentioned the Iron Man
Yeah.
on the telephone conversation a couple of weeks back.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a lonely thing to do. But you're doing it with a team, with a group of people, and you're doing it with many other competitors who all have the same belief and usually the same motivations.
Yeah, the same drive.
Right, the same drive. There's no difference there between that and maybe, I don't know, going to church for some people.
Yeah.
Or going to wherever.
It's
going
a
to the
reason
mosque.
to get out of bed. It's a motivating factor. It's a positive motivating factor to get out of bed and to really push yourself to do something. I think a lot of people in life can be influenced by negative motivators. So like even something as simple as losing weight. Like if you do concentrate on losing weight instead of giving yourself a positive target, you're concentrating on the wrong thing. It's almost like you're concentrating on being overweight.
Well,
it's a negative motivator.
I'll let you into a little secret with the mindfulness stuff and setting goals for yourself.
Yeah.
Chances are you're going to fail, right? And so you have a rough idea of what you'd like, but you don't try too hard.
Yeah. People don't understand.
You don't try too hard, and you cultivate kindness towards yourself and the understanding that you will trip up along the way, and you pick yourself up and you pat yourself on the back and
Yeah.
you give yourself some of that self-care.
Yeah.
Or if it's not you, someone else. You go, well done.
Yeah.
Come on, man. But don't try too hard. Even towards the end of these mindfulness meditation practices, would be the very last few minutes would be to say, and just stop what you're doing. If you think you've been meditating, just give it all up right now and just sit.
Yeah.
Because 9 times out of 10, it's exactly the same experience, but you've just let yourself off the hook for trying too hard.
Yeah.
Why don't you just run
Yeah. Yeah.
when you do the Ironman? Why don't you just cycle? Because when it gets really painful, when you've got to bring it all back to now, any sportsman will know, there's no point thinking, because that will get in the way. Come on, I've got to do it. You've just got to be quiet, awareness, and in, and just be.
Yeah.
Be what you're
just
doing.
Be.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just be.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's important. Just keep putting one foot in front of the other.
I was kind of
Chip away.
putting myself into the picture there of like when you are really in the hurt and really in the zone. Like that is what athletes call it, being in the zone, where you
flow
do,
state.
Yeah, the flow state where you have no distractions and you are just completely focused on this one task at hand. There's nothing else in your life at that moment in
Right.
time.
So to get that feeling, what's involved?
Focus.
Right? And you've probably been running for about 10, 20 miles.
Yeah. So time.
But to get you to that point, it hasn't just started that day, has it?
Oh no, it's years.
Right.
It's a lifetime of commitment.
Right. This is it. A lifetime of
yeah.
commitment. And you tell me, with a lot of young people today, or even adults and elderly people who have retired, who has that kind of commitment?
Yeah, it's
Who?
so.
Because these things, their mobile phones, are eating away at our attention.
Yeah.
No one's committed to anything.
Yeah.
No one's bothered about stuff. It's
Yeah.
all about the
People want that instant
Everyone wants
gratification.
You've got it.
Yeah. That's what they want.
I think it's like this in modern times now, where everything's like at the click of a fingers. We can get anything we want so fast. And then the problem we've got now is that people they see the top of the mountain and they want to get to the top without climbing it.
Yeah, that's it.
You did right.
Bang on.
And nobody understands the hard work that actually goes into getting to the top of the mountain.
The steps that you need to take along the way. Like, I would never expect this podcast to be amazing overnight. It's going to grow with time. It's like anything that you do in life, you should not expect the results overnight. You should expect to put the effort in, put the work in. It's like this, the law of attraction. So I understand it, and I'd fully expect for me to vision things like, it could work out, but there's a lot more than just to vision it. You've got to really go out there and put the effort in and commit to it and dedicate and change the way that you are acting in your life.
Well, to change the way that you are, we need to remember that neuroscience, okay, chaps, good stuff this.
Hit us.
It tells us that our mentality or our thinking is slightly negatively biased. Yeah. It's got a negative bias, so we're not meant to be happy. If we are, we have to work at it. Yeah, it's not a given, because the mobile phones and social media is kind of this. Everybody's happy all the time. It's not true. It's not true. So it's like, accept that.
So you are saying that fundamentally, us as a species, we aren't
right. Okay,
meant to be. I'm sorry, I'm digging into what you're already saying.
Three of us right now. Let's imagine.
Yeah.
We're sat in our own little cave.
Yeah.
Thousands of years ago.
Okay.
Right now.
I'm there.
Now, if this was thousands of years ago, I'd tell you, we wouldn't be smiling and happy. We'd be freezing cold, on edge, starving. We'd be going, right, well, it was your fault. You should have got the firewood in. It got dark hours ago. What are you playing at? No, it was your turn yesterday. But you didn't go hunting yesterday. Yeah, that's because we don't need to feed as much, because the rest of the tribe all died because they got attacked by that wild tiger. So we're actually designed for fight and flight.
Yeah, of course.
It's fight and flight that keeps us alive.
Yeah.
Right. So we're a super fantastic animal, mammal.
Yeah, of course.
And we're designed for that. We've done really well. So we are the predominant species. Yeah. And then somehow, somewhere along the line, the prefrontal cortex took over with the visual stuff. Yeah.
And is it like, so you're talking speech now as well?
What separates us from the
speech,
rest
language,
of the
Yeah, of
animals?
course.
our fight and flight mechanism never changed.
Is that in the amygdala?
It is the amygdala towards
Yeah.
the back of the head, yeah.
Yeah.
So like a fight or flight radar, it's looking for threat. So we're cavemen,
Yeah.
back thousands of years ago. We're looking out of the the open space in the cave.
Yeah.
So we'd be looking for threat, wouldn't we?
Yeah,
We'd be looking out
Absolutely,
on edge.
yeah.
Trying
Where
to
are they?
survive
Right,
constantly.
right, yeah. Right, guys, it's safe to go.
Mhm.
Okay, let's wait for daylight and then you go first and you go second. That kind of thing. So 21st century now, that doesn't exist.
Mhm.
But that operation, that functionality is still happening.
Mm-hmm.
There are no threats anymore because everybody's too comfortable.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, so comfortable.
Look, I mean, we just sat here and closed, comfortable,
Yeah,
no threat.
yeah.
But that doesn't. The amygdala doesn't turn off. So what it is doing is scanning the internal environment and interpreting your thoughts like wild animals.
Right.
Yeah.
So, for example, if I was at work, big email list, Monday morning, big email list, and I start feeling the, I've got the anxiousness, I've got the tight chest, oh my God, I'm under pressure, right? That's the same reaction that a caveman would have to, there's that tiger.
The exact same.
Right, the exact same.
The exact same.
The
thing.
brain can't tell the difference between reality and fantasy.
Yeah.
This is why shoot 'em up games
Oh, yes.
are really dangerous.
Yeah, like the likes of Call of Duty and...
Yeah, because
And go
they
deep on that subject.
Yeah,
could,
yeah,
yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
We love it.
Yeah.
But like I say, this amygdala is not turning off. It's 24 hours, but it's still caveman.
Mm.
So anything that stresses you out or anything that triggers your anxiety buttons is usually within your own head.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's not an animal on the outside,
yeah.
or it's not a danger on the outside.
Mm.
So it's going to be reading that text
Yeah.
off a so-called friend. I can't believe he said that.
Yeah.
Blah blah blah, and
Yeah,
then you react.
Yeah.
Then they react. Then their mates react, and
Yeah.
it starts. It's no different to politics
Yeah.
Yeah.
or anything.
Yeah, yeah.
Anything on social media.
Yeah, it's a good way to put it.
And because of the way it's gone, the amygdala is actually more stimulated now than it ever was.
Even when we were living in caves.
Think about it, because
so much.
What?
because
It's such a good point.
Yeah.
the screens of your phone and the TV and everywhere there's a screen is it stimulates
Yeah.
the amygdala.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. When was the last time you had a solid week of good sleep?
Oh, I am pretty good with sleep.
You're a good sleeper.
Yeah.
And you're not so good. Right. Most people aren't sleeping very well because
Yeah.
of the distraction.
Yeah,
So if
yeah,
we're not
yeah.
sleeping, that's also raising the receptiveness of the amygdala. It's
Yeah.
even more agitated than it ever was.
Yeah.
The smallest thing will trigger it off.
Mm-hmm.
So even if a colleague or a manager or a leader was to look at you and you just interpret it the wrong way,
Yeah.
they just might just pull
Yeah. I've had this
a
recently.
small gesture and take it really personally.
Yeah.
And this is another problem we've got. We take everything personally.
Yeah.
Mhm.
We assume that their reactions towards us is something
Yeah.
about us, but
Yeah.
it's not.
Yeah. Well, this fight or flight thing, naturally, if we were back in that cave, we're made to think it's only happening to us. So it's going, come on, John, we've got to move. I've got to fight. I've got to run. It's not just about me.
Mm-hmm.
It's just about me. So wonderful, it worked. But these days, everybody is taking it personally, but it increases selfishness
Yeah.
and it increases indulgence of the senses.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I want to feel better.
Yeah.
And to feel better, to relax, I'll go on my phone, I'll go shopping.
Yeah.
I'll click that, I'll buy that.
You look
I'll
for the
listen
next
to that.
distraction to
It's
please you.
compulsive.
Yeah, so we are driven to distraction.
Mm. It's like stress is a real external factor in our lives. It's funny what you said there about like just getting the wrong look off somebody, because I mean, you find yourself then like 10 minutes down the line, you're arguing with this individual for them looking at you the wrong way when they probably didn't mean to look at you the wrong way. And I actually listened to Sam Harris before give a brilliant little talk on this, the way that we just go over the same conversation time and time again. So the next, you've had the same conversation with somebody 15 times. Now, if you were to take that conversation and play it, if you played your thoughts onto a screen to the public, people would think that you're insane.
Yeah.
Like you're
yeah,
quite
yeah.
literally just repeating yourself. But we're all doing this all of the time. It's like we're constantly repeating the negative self-talk in our head, or these deflating arguments that you haven't even had with somebody. And
it's much easier to be negative due to the...
It seems to be.
Well, we're naturally programmed for the negative.
Through
So
evolution.
here's one for you. So negative thoughts naturally stick to your brain's memory bank on purpose. So caveman, we would remember where the poisonous berries are.
Yeah.
That makes so much sense.
Right.
Absolutely.
There's no need for happiness because that's just going to take up more cognitive space in my memory bank.
Yeah.
So anything good that happens, it slides off you like silk.
It's more important to know what's going to kill you than what made you happy.
Yes.
You know?
Absolutely.
This is why happiness, you've got to work at it.
Yes,
Yeah.
you do.
You need constant reminders.
You do.
Yeah, it's every day. It's a work in progress. You can't.
Yeah.
One day you might understand it, but one day you don't just have a day where it comes and for the rest of your life you're happy.
No.
Like there's
happen.
parts of life that are just
Yeah.
melancholy. There's parts of life that are just
Absolutely.
Yeah. So there's that default setting,
Yeah.
slightly negative, and you're right. So every day work at it,
yeah.
because the next day it's back at default.
Yeah. You're
But over time that default may slightly change.
I definitely feel like in my personal life that default setting is getting better and better. The more I progress, the more personal development that I do.
Yeah.
And it's up to you to take
yeah.
responsibility in that.
We're never going to be superhuman, but
No.
there's a book out there called 10% Happier,
Okay.
I'm gonna.
and by some famous CNN reporter.
Right.
Yeah. So he was super stressed out, but he paid more attention and got more aware. So, like you say, he wasn't just changed overnight. He was just super happy.
Yeah.
No. Just 10% happier.
Yeah.
Now and again.
Yeah.
But he noticed the difference because that 10% can really just flip the balance a little bit on a daily basis.
Yeah.
You know, and remembering, and this thing about remembering and to work at it. So back to your athletics, Ironman, and in that moment of pure flow or pure pain,
Yeah.
is then having the ability to bring up loving images, things that make you happy.
Yeah.
You know, do you have photos? Sewn inside or on your water bottle to remind. Oh, there's so and so.
That's a really good.
It's
on
like
the
a
water
trigger.
bottle.
Yeah, on your
You got a
water
picture
bottle.
of like your daughter or
That'd be
something there, and you look
unbelievable.
and you just
That'd be an amazing idea.
Oh, that is very interesting.
At the right moment, at the right time, when you see something like that, it's going to give you that little bit extra
You know
that you
what?
really
Especially
need.
when you, absolutely.
You know, I find like a big part of me maturing was being able to like almost like be able to assess myself, and it was like splitting away from myself and looking at myself from like a different angle. Do you know?
Good idea.
And and that was a big, massive part of me being able to change like some of the bad tendencies I had and whatnot. And it comes down to awareness again. It's like there's so many different levels of the awareness.
So many, yeah.
Well, here's one for you. So what you've just described there, it's as if you're in a cinema.
Yeah.
On the seat, looking at the screen of your life.
Yeah.
So then, if you want
visualization.
So if you want to develop that awareness even further,
yeah,
then be the guy in the projector room, looking down at the person who's looking at the screen.
Yeah. We've gotten deep. We're
going deep.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then there's the guy on the roof who's fixing the tiles.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
So there's so many different levels of awareness and consciousness. I think it's so important for people to be able to speak about this with people, because I know when I was growing up, if I just had people that understood these type of, that understood
these concepts.
Yeah, these concepts. Sorry, I'm struggling to get my words out here.
It's okay.
But, if I had those type of people around me, I feel like it would have stopped me from making like a lot of mistakes.
Well, who got taught this kind of thing at school?
That's it. It's not part of the curriculum.
Let's go to school and say, this is the part of the school where we teach you how your brain works.
Yeah.
We teach you that you're probably going to have these kind of thoughts, and it's not your fault.
Yeah.
There's nothing. Yeah, you are not in fully control.
Yeah,
you can teach them it's through evolution.
Yeah.
And that's another. So that brings me on to a little bit of more to do with your thoughts. Negative self-talk. Have you got anything in particular that you do to try and overcome negative self-talk? Do you have any possible mantras? Do you have any trigger point within your own mind?
Okay. In no particular order.
You've got humorous.
So mantra means mind protection.
Okay.
which is really interesting.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So my mantra in the morning, and I've had to learn this, so I started off by a post-it note by my bedside drawers.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then it became a bit more, look at it, read it, come on, say it out loud, John. And now, years down the line, it's just me saying those thoughts to myself, and it's really simple. Come on, John, we're going to have a good day.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. It's so so
That's
effective.
it. Come on, John, we're going to have a good day. Because
Yeah.
it used to be, oh, God.
Yeah.
It's-
Can't be asked.
Yeah. and it starts. It starts, doesn't it? Oh, God. Here we go.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't wait to see XYZ at work.
Yeah.
People, I
And
know
all those-
people
yeah.
listening
Right.
can understand that.
Yeah.
Oh, can't be
So,
asked.
so pretty regularly, I'm
I'm
catching myself saying, come on, John, we're going to have a good day.
Yeah.
You know,
It's
it
a good
sounds
thing
so
to say,
simple, but I will meditate specifically on that topic. So the critical self,
Right.
yeah, that
Yeah.
self. People call it the self-saboteur. People will call it the inner critic.
Yeah.
I think you might have called it something else maybe a minute ago.
Mm-hmm.
But how do you combat that?
Mm-hmm.
So I encourage that aspect of myself to come out in my imagination, and for me to have a good look at it,
Mm-hmm.
and for me to look at its age. And when I first started doing this, so I'm now 50,
Mm-hmm.
so let's say I was doing this last year, and the age was, it was an 18-year-old, or my 18-year-old self.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And let's say some things around that age might have been quite difficult. So I learned certain habits, certain mental habits that stuck with me internally.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So
Yeah,
now I enabling myself to get that out and to be okay with those kind of thoughts, that kind of thinking, who I was, what I looked like, to make friends with that. Yeah. To
Yeah.
wish.
So that 18-year-old version of
Yeah,
yourself.
to
Time
wish-
traveling.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah.
And it's no
It really
different to what we mentioned earlier with the different perspectives.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so then to make friends and to also teach and to offer it some advice
Mm-hmm.
and to also recognize why it's there.
Mm-hmm.
Because 9 times out of 10, they're doing it on purpose because they think they're trying to protect us, a bit like our amygdala.
Yeah.
Mm, okay.
Yeah. It could almost be like a matrixy kind of crazy imagination that's come from the back of our mind going, hey, John, don't do that.
Yeah.
You're going to die.
Yeah.
You don't want to do that,
That's
do you?
it, yeah.
Because when you do that, you get all upset or you get all like, no, don't do that.
Your
Yeah,
subconscious doesn't want you to develop. It doesn't want you to grow or change.
No, because it wants you to survive.
Yeah, that's it.
That's it.
The fundamental reason for you is to survive.
Survive.
So a lot in a lot of therapy stuff with children or therapy stuff with adults based on childhood stuff
Yeah.
is to I've kind of forgotten what you were saying. It was kind of
Negative self-talk.
but it's focusing on these old habits.
Okay.
And it's focusing on that, on that self-talk, and it's to bring it out into the open, yeah, because you've got to break the stigma with yourself
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
and being honest about the thoughts that you do have.
Yeah. Because they're there.
They are there.
Yeah, people
Yeah.
struggle processing their emotions and thoughts a lot,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a big barrier. It's in a big part of also just maturing, just growing.
Yeah.
Is being able to process your emotions, and it's a difficult process. It's not something that's easy. It's not a walk in the park.
No, and you know what? It takes time.
Yeah.
So we're filling our time up with the mobile phones, aren't
Yeah.
we? So if we dream, we're processing.
Yeah.
And when we're dreaming and we're processing, the amygdala is turned off. If we're dreaming, the amygdala is turned off.
Mm-hmm.
We can experience some of our nastiest moments
Mm-hmm.
without freaking out. So the brain is looking after us. The mind is looking after us.
When
in a
you're
sense.
dreaming.
Yeah, when you're dreaming.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when you're in a nightmare, basically.
So your
is what-
amygdala's turned off when you're dreaming.
When you're dreaming.
Yeah.
So you're able to have these scary thoughts. Okay.
It's dreams are a funny
It's so,
one.
yeah,
man.
it is. It's
Dreams
so
are
deep and
so-
complex and fascinating. It really is. It's just like these dreams. I have an issue with my. Also, like I don't know what it is, but I act out my dreams, so I have a problem. Like I get
yeah.
up and dash. Like I get up and dash. It must be a problem with like can't get into some sort of sleep state.
So as in you'll physically get up.
I physically just get up and run. and it happens constantly, like frequently, like several times a month.
With having full knowledge and recollection of the dream.
I come into it as I'm like snapping out of it,
Okay.
and I'm almost in two places at one. I understand it's happening again, and it takes a few seconds just to come back into the room almost.
Wow.
Yes.
So are you having lucid type of dreams where they're real?
It's so real. It's happened since I was a kid as well.
Okay.
So it's happened since I was a kid. I
You
remember.
punched your father, didn't
Yeah,
you?
yeah.
You
So
said,
yeah, it might sound creepy because I say I was in the same bed as my dad. No, but I was a kid. You know, the
Yeah,
house was full.
Yeah.
Like, the house was full. We had family round, and me and my dad were sleeping in the same bed, and he tries to wake me up because I'm having a bad dream, and I'm just screaming. I'm actually hitting him in the dream. I feel like I'm being
God.
kidnapped, and I remember that. But it's carried on now. I'm in my 20s, and I just get up and I dash, and then there was a time where I've like just jumped over my partner, jumped over my girlfriend completely, dashed again.
Yeah.
Well, it's interesting. If we brought awareness to that, we can definitely learn to catch ourselves falling asleep.
Yeah.
And for some people who are really good at it, follow ourselves into
a lucid dream.
a dream state, a lucid dream, and then to have the awareness to know that you're dreaming, to watch what you do next, instead of what sounds like it's been happening. You're waking up, don't want to go there.
Yeah.
A lot of
I've had it where I'm in it and there's people around me, and I swear there's like, I know they're not there, but I know I'm in the dream and there's people around me. So I'm.
Are you in your
experiencing
bedroom at this moment?
In my bedroom, yeah, and there's people there, and sometimes my girlfriend's not my girlfriend in the bed, and it's like, whoa, this is weird. Like, who's this other person in the bed with me right now? And it takes me time.
Yeah, that's.
I probably need to go to a doctor.
Yeah.
Well, listen, I think it's not to analyse any dream, but my only advice would be to start to notice a theme and start to notice anything like particular objects.
Yeah.
But don't go into why.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just get into, I noticed that.
Acknowledge it.
Yeah, because that builds the awareness.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, I noticed there's always a clock in the corner of the room. All right, I noticed. You noticed that. You're starting to be aware of that.
Yeah.
Oh, I notice it always tends to be around X subject.
Yeah.
You know, that kind of thing.
It's, yeah. I'm
So
going
it's
to
more
have to start
subtle.
taking notes.
Yeah,
Yes,
take notes.
yeah,
Do you
we're-
take notes on dreams?
Do I?
Yeah.
I have done.
Have you done in the?
Oh, yeah.
I've done in
Yeah,
the
but
past.
yeah.
And I keep on going through phases where I start to do it again and then I stop. But I just know it's very good for your memory to write down your dream when you wake up.
Yeah,
it's,
I would forget
it's,
them all.
it's good for training your
Forget
memory.
them all.
I try so hard to do it and then I go a week and I'm like, shit, I haven't done it for a week now. No, I need to start again. It's so hard just to remember when my alarm goes off in the morning instead of thinking, I can't be asked to get up.
Well, this
Write down your
this is
dreams.
why we've really got to tie everything in.
Yeah.
So for me, with a post-it note at the end of the bedside cupboard with the mantra.
Yeah.
So then it's like it could be then a list of things you've got to do before the eyes have opened. I'm glancing at the reminder.
Yeah.
This is what I do first. And really get into the habit.
Yeah.
Because we're really good at getting into habits.
Yeah.
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 We are really good at it.
Pattern seeking
Sometimes bad for
individuals,
us.
aren't we?
But we've just got to make them positive.
Yeah.
And we've got to buy into them.
Yeah.
And from waking up to things that we're wearing, things that we're doing, things that we're eating, everything's almost got to remind us of why you've woken up in the morning.
Yeah.
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 Or this, what's the true purpose of the Iron Man?
Yeah.
You know, what are you trying to achieve from your recordings
Yeah.
and your lyrics?
Yeah.
What's the, yeah.
It's kind of trying to give yourself a purpose.
Yes.
Otherwise you
Yeah.
just get sucked into this cycle where
You do.
society's created for us, and you
cover
never
by the
find out what you
distractions.
truly desire.
Yeah. I my mantra that I use now, and this has been probably about a month, maybe a little bit longer. Whenever I notice, and this I do tend to become aware of this pretty quickly now. Whenever I notice that I am in a bit of negative self-talk, or I'm doing a pointless argument with somebody in my head, or anything along those lines, I tend to just say to myself, now, and it's the most simple thing, you are in control of your own life. And that is purely because, and it goes back to what I said earlier, that is purely because now I fully believe that free will is there. And I have to believe in free will. And the reason why is because I've managed. You can go deeper, and then people will start saying that free will is not. It's not a thing. Like, you have no choice over anything you do in life because your own bodily needs, etc. But I fundamentally believe that through my own personal change in life, that I wouldn't have got to where I am today without my own free will. It's my own responsibility. The reason why I am going down the track that I'm going down. And so that's why I tend to just say to myself, you are in control of your own life. It's because it goes back to the thoughts, back to the negative thoughts that I might have been thinking. And I'll try and think about something productive or something good or something that I'm happy about. Could be something like the podcast, right? Do something to do with the podcast, find a guest, this, that, or the other, anything. But it tends to be productive so that I'm actually using my time in a productive way. It's as simple as that.
Mm-hmm. Makes a lot of sense.
So free will.
Yeah.
So you're making decisions based on free will. Yeah. And then all your decisions are also based on everything that you've learned and everything that you've done from day one.
Yes, when you're a blank slate.
Yeah. So your version of free will is Joel's version.
Yes.
And my version is John's version.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And your version is your version.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, depending on our... It is depending on our upbringing, isn't it?
Yeah.
But also, it's depending on our genes.
Genes, yeah.
Where we were born.
yeah. It's the way we've been brought up.
And this is why it's interesting for me. I do like the idea that let's not pick it to pieces because it will drive you to distraction.
Yeah.
And let's just deal with right now, what's here right now, how am I doing right now, what's going on right now, how aware am I?
Yeah.
Because for me, the sheer complexity of everything else is so much and so mind-blowing that you'd never work anything out.
Yeah.
Never work anything out. There's a book called the DSM. Psychiatrists use it, doctors use it for prescribing. So let's imagine you two are my patients, and I was an imaginary doctor, and I didn't know what was up. You've described to me your symptoms. I'll look in the book, the DSM.
Yeah.
Oh, you're XYZ, you're displaying this. Right, okay, that means I can prescribe you that.
Okay.
But the DSM grows as a book every year. They're finding more and more disorders.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm sure in 10 years' time there will be more and more disorders. And that's the Western point of view. And then you've got loads of interesting religions and healing traditions that only have one book, and it's been like that for a couple of thousand years.
Yeah. So we've created... So, like, I mean, I don't want to say we've created people suffering from disorders. I don't want to offend anyone because mental health is a big issue.
Yeah.
But I feel like our society's created a lot of these disorders for us. Like, it's conditioned us to have these disorders in ways. There's so many different things.
If you put rats in a box, and you simulate a 7-day week, and you simulate in their time zone, you simulate a 24-hour day with working cycles, so lights on, lights off, and put them under false lights, under closed conditions. They go nuts.
Yeah.
They get really angry and they start to attack each other.
Yeah.
That doesn't surprise me.
And this is the society modern day society has just created this environment for us, and it's done for a reason. It's not by accident. It's designed this way.
I feel like it's manipulated in
because if we all found out what we truly desire, the whole world would be a different place. Imagine how the world it would be. And if also like I said, when I was a kid and I didn't have these people around me to help me be more mindful. When we went to the education system is like flawed. It's so flawed. Why aren't we being taught about ourselves? Why aren't we really being taught about these things? It's just
that's right.
But for people listening, John is located in Hamilton.
There you go.
And in January, he's got an 8-week course that Joel's going to attend, and I'm pretty sure that I'm going to book in too.
Yeah.
John, what is the website?
The website is all one word: focusdaytraining.co.uk.
Amazing, and we'll put the links.
Yeah, do you want to tell us precisely? Not precisely. Do you want to give us a rundown of what the 8 weeks course
sure.
for myself?
Yeah, well, it's open to anybody. And starting 16th of January,
Yeah.
8-week courses are recommended by the National Institute of Clinical Excellence. This is one of their courses. Yeah, this is one of the courses they recommend,
Nice.
and you need to have a teacher that's on the UK mindfulness teacher listing.
That's it,
so
yeah.
that's me. That's me. That tells you
Amazing.
that I've done the training, I've done yearly retreats,
Yeah.
and I take regular weekends to make sure the experience is good.
Oh,
Yeah.
brilliant, yeah.
So, if you want to, Joel, perfect example, little more focus within the sport.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Little more focus on creativity.
Yeah.
Yeah, with the songwriting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Some people would like to deal with their anxiousness in different ways.
Mm-hmm.
Some people would like to feel a sense of calm, ease, a bit more relaxed around people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The mindfulness meditation works specifically with the amygdala,
Mm-hmm.
and the knock-on effect is a lot more relaxedness, a lot more calmness, and it helps cognitive thinking.
Mm-hmm.
It reduces stress, anxiety, so much more. I probably haven't got time for.
Yeah.
But 2 hours, 7 till 9, over 8 weeks, and
Yeah.
each week builds on the next one.
Okay.
So by the time we've done the 8-week program, just like all the science shows,
Yeah.
most of us will have a different point of view and a different perspective about ourselves,
Yeah.
our place within ourselves,
Mm-hmm.
and our place in the world.
That's. This is
Powerful.
right on our doorstep, people. This is right on our doorstep. if I knew about these things before, like it would have helped me so much. I would
Right.
have stopped myself. I don't regret my mistakes, but
Just to jump in there, these things are available. You've just got to find them.
I know.
If people are interested in this way of life, it's up to you to go out there and
Yeah.
find them. I mean,
with
something
like-minded
simple.
people as
in,
well.
In 2 weeks' time, I'm doing a free course, a free public speaking course. I'm not being funny, but these are out there for us to do. It's up to us to find them.
Also,
If you want to improve, it's take responsibility in your own life and get out there and do it.
Yeah, I agree.
absolutely. January 18th is that?
16.
16th. Sorry, January 16th.
Yeah.
So we have time to have fun over Christmas,
Yeah.
and then we can really get back into gear. Me and Joel, I'll join you on that one. Me and Joel
one.
will be there as well,
Yes.
so you can do it with us too.
There you go.
So us two will be
Brilliant.
there.
Look forward to
I'm
it.
looking forward to it
Amazing.
too, John. Thank you very much for
The
coming on the
discussion was
show.
incredible.
I've really enjoyed
My
this.
pleasure.
Yeah,
Good fun.
thank you, John. Thanks,
Peace out.
Chris.
Thanks, Chris.